Islam is not merely a religion confined to rituals or personal belief. It is a complete, comprehensive way of life that governs every aspect of human existence with divine precision, offering guidance for spiritual, social, political, economic, and moral conduct, all sourced from the unaltered revelation of the Qur'an and the authentic teachings of the Prophet. Unlike man-made ideologies that fluctuate with time and culture, Islam remains timeless because it is grounded in divine knowledge, providing solutions that are both logical and applicable across all eras and civilizations. The power of Islam lies in its ability to awaken the intellect and stir the heart simultaneously. It invites inquiry, not blind following, urging its followers to ponder, reflect, and investigate the truth for themselves. The Quran addresses the human soul with unmatched eloquence and the human mind with undeniable logic, presenting signs in the creation, in human physiology, in historical patterns, and in the natural laws of the universe, challenging anyone to produce a single contradiction. Islam empowers its followers with clarity of purpose, defining life as a test and the hereafter as the true destination, thereby liberating them from the chains of confusion, depression, and material obsession. Its principles of justice, charity, compassion, and accountability create a balanced society where the rights of every individual are honored regardless of race, wealth, or gender. It elevates the status of women, preserves the sanctity of family, enjoins kindness to parents, and obligates the rich to care for the poor through zakat. It condemns racism, tribalism, and all forms of injustice while promoting unity through the concept of one global ummah. Islam grants the human being the highest form of dignity by acknowledging their ability to think, choose, and seek forgiveness directly from the Creator without any intermediaries, clergy, or confessions. It teaches that no soul carries the burden of another, and that every person will be judged according to their deeds and intentions alone. The power of Islam is such that despite global propaganda, misconceptions, and relentless efforts to suppress its light, it continues to spread across continents and classes, among scientists, scholars, intellectuals, and even within prison walls, because its truth resonates with the human natural disposition. It produces individuals who are strong in character, pure in heart, disciplined in actions, and resilient in faith. Islam's message is universal, its teachings are rational, and its impact is transformational. It does not require force to convince. It simply requires exposure, because once the truth is seen with sincerity, the heart naturally inclines. Islam offers peace not just as a concept, but as a living reality. For the one who submits to Allah finds a peace that no wealth, fame, or worldly success can offer. And that is the true power of Islam. It reforms the individual, restores the family, revives the society, and reconnects humanity to its Creator with purpose, clarity, and peace. Islam is not just a religion, it is a complete way of life that offers solutions to every problem, social, economic, political, and spiritual. This statement is often said, but rarely understood in its depth. When one looks into Islam beyond the surface, beyond the cultural practices and media portrayals, and begins to understand the divine framework it offers, one finds a system that addresses the human being in totality. It does not only speak to the soul, or the heart, or the rituals, but it speaks to the mind, the body, the society, the state, the economy, and the environment. Islam provides guidance from how to greet someone, how to manage wealth, how to treat the oppressed, how to run a government, how to balance rights and duties between husband and wife, and even how to sleep, eat, and conduct business with justice and integrity. It is not a passive belief system that is limited to places of worship. It is an active, living code that permeates every area of human existence. When society is in moral decay, Islam offers a solution through the establishment of family values, the prohibition of alcohol, drugs, gambling, and all actions that destroy human dignity and relationships. When the world suffers economic imbalance, where a few control the wealth of the many, Islam offers economic justice through zakat, prohibition of interest riba, the encouragement of trade with ethics, and the obligation to support the poor. When politics become a game of lies, corruption, and manipulation, Islam demands justice, accountability, leadership through service, and rule of law applied equally regardless of position or power. Spiritually, when the modern world suffers from emptiness, anxiety, and purposelessness despite material luxury, Islam gives the human heart a direction, a creator to worship, a purpose to live for, and a life that is not random but designed. Even in times of suffering and difficulty, Islam gives meaning. Suffering is not meaningless, but a test, a purification, a means of spiritual growth, and an opportunity for reward. This comprehensive nature of Islam makes it powerful. It does not contradict itself. It does not offer spiritual teachings that clash with practical life. It does not call to good on one hand and encourage injustice on the other. It provides a consistent, holistic world, that aligns the inner and outer life of a person. The Qur'an addresses not just rituals and beliefs, but also economics, ethics, governance, family, psychology, and even international relations. The Prophet was not just a religious preacher. He was a father, a husband, a businessman, a statesman, a judge, a military commander, and a spiritual guide, demonstrating how Islam is applied in every role of human life. That is why Muslims find Islam relevant in every situation they face. Whether they are running a business, raising children, facing injustice, celebrating happiness, or mourning loss, Islam has a divine instruction. It builds individuals with integrity, self-control, compassion, and discipline. It does not separate religion from life. There is no concept of religion on one side and daily affairs on the other. Islam integrates them. That's why it succeeds in creating strong communities, united families, honest businessmen, fair leaders, and spiritually fulfilled individuals. And it offers all this with a logic that is understandable, accessible, and based on evidence. It invites thought, reason, and study. It respects the intellect while nurturing the soul. It doesn't demand blind faith but informed submission. Every command has wisdom behind it. Every prohibition is for protection. Every act of worship builds not only the connection with God, but also the development of the human self. Islam is powerful because it answers every human need in balance. It does not lean excessively into materialism, nor escape into extreme asceticism. It calls for living in the world with responsibility, but never losing sight of the hereafter. It allows lawful enjoyment, but places boundaries to protect the self and society from harm. It honors emotion, but commands reason. It permits wealth, but obliges generosity. It encourages strength, but praises humility. It makes no separation between sacred and secular, because everything in life can be an act of worship, if done with the right intention and within divine guidelines. The Qur'an is a timeless, scientifically accurate, and divinely revealed guide that transcends human intellect and cultural boundaries. It is not just a book of spiritual comfort or poetic inspiration. It is a manual for life, a source of legislation, a blueprint for society, and a miracle that continues to defy time and human limitation. Revealed over a period of 23 years to an unlettered man in the deserts of Arabia, the Qur'an addresses all aspects of human life: spiritual, intellectual, moral, legal, social, and even scientific, presenting truths that modern research continues to uncover, yet never contradicting established facts. This divine text, composed in unparalleled Arabic eloquence, presents a linguistic miracle that has challenged even the greatest masters of the Arabic language to produce something comparable, yet none have succeeded, despite the Qur'an's invitation to do so. Its verses carry the depth of meaning that addresses the simple believer and the profound scholar alike. It describes natural phenomena, embryological development, oceanography, the formation of mountains, the water cycle, and even the expansion of the universe. Facts that science only discovered centuries later with advanced tools and technology, and yet they were revealed in a book recited by desert dwellers who had no scientific instruments or libraries. The Qur'an's language is precise, its message is clear, its structure is unique, and its effect on the hearts is undeniable. Millions memorize it word for word, including children, despite it being over 600 pages long. It is the only book that exists unchanged in its original form for over 1,400 years, with not a single letter altered, not because of human preservation, but because the one who revealed it promised to guard it. Its guidance is relevant in every age, for every people, in every context, whether addressing family life, financial dealings, state governance, or spiritual purification. It constantly appeals to reason, calling the reader to reflect, ponder, and question the signs in themselves and the universe. Its repeated rhetorical question, "Do they not reflect?" is not a call to blind faith, but an invitation to intellectual submission after deep consideration. The Qur'an unifies law with morality, belief with practice, and inner purity with external justice. It teaches about mercy, forgiveness, and hope, while also warning of consequences and accountability. It balances between the love of God and the fear of His justice, between personal growth and communal responsibility. It guides through stories of past nations not merely for entertainment, but to teach timeless lessons on the patterns of human behavior, arrogance, injustice, and divine intervention. It offers spiritual healing, psychological clarity, and emotional strength through its verses. Even those who attempt to critique it often end up being influenced by its depth, precision, and unmatched structure. It cuts through ignorance, refutes falsehood with truth, and speaks to the soul in a way no other text can. It has produced generations of thinkers, scientists, rulers, poets, and spiritual leaders who drew their inspiration not from secular philosophies or evolving theories, but from the divine words of the Qur'an that remain as relevant today as they were when first revealed, offering solutions that are not limited by time, space, or human opinion. Islam empowers believers with clarity of purpose, unshakable moral grounding, and unwavering inner peace even amidst worldly chaos, because it gives them a complete and consistent framework through which they understand their identity, their responsibilities, and their ultimate destination, unlike the fragmented ideologies that leave people confused, anxious, or endlessly searching. When a person accepts Islam, they are not left to figure life out on their own or rely on fluctuating societal trends. Instead, they are immediately anchored in the knowledge that they are created by a wise, merciful, and just Creator who did not leave them without guidance, and that every moment of their life, from their most private thought to their public behavior, has value, accountability, and meaning. This clarity removes the confusion that plagues so many today who don't know who they are, what they're meant to do, or why they exist, because Islam answers all of these questions directly. You are the servant of Allah. Your purpose is to worship and obey Him, and your end goal is to return to Him having fulfilled your trust on earth. This profound sense of purpose transforms a person's mindset. No act is seen as random, no pain is without reason, no blessing is without responsibility. The believer walks through life with direction and confidence, not arrogance, because they know their worth is not measured by status, wealth, or appearance, but by their sincerity, their obedience, and their intentions before Allah. Morally, Islam sets clear boundaries that do not change with time or culture. Halal and haram are not determined by popular vote, market forces, or media influence, but by divine wisdom, and this unchanging foundation gives the believer stability and strength in a world that is constantly shifting its moral compass. While others may hesitate in times of moral dilemmas, the believer has a clear path. Speak the truth even if it's against yourself. Avoid injustice even if it's profitable. Fulfill promises even if they cost you. Lower your gaze even when others celebrate indulgence, and stand with the oppressed even if it's unpopular. This level of moral clarity breeds courage, discipline, and consistency, which is why even under pressure, a true Muslim remains firm, because they are not guided by feelings, trends, or peer pressure, but by divine instruction. Emotionally, Islam gives peace not by denying pain, but by contextualizing it. Loss, failure, betrayal, and hardship are not seen as random misfortunes, but as tests from Allah, opportunities to grow, chances to purify sins, and moments to return back to prayer, patience, and reliance on Him. The believer doesn't seek escape through drugs, distractions, or denial, but through dua, hikr, salah, and sabr. And that inner peace is real. It's not fake positivity or forced optimism. It's the calm assurance that nothing happens without Allah's will, that your Lord is watching, that justice will be served, that prayers are heard, and that the hereafter is better than this world. This creates a psychological resilience that is rare and powerful. Even if the believer is isolated, attacked, or misunderstood, they remain grounded because their self-worth, their peace, and their direction are tied to their relationship with Allah, not with public opinion. This is why Islam has produced some of the strongest, most fearless, most compassionate individuals in history, because their foundation was not weak or borrowed. It was built upon Tawheed, sincerity, and certainty in divine guidance, making them unshakable even when the world around them was falling apart. When practiced correctly, Islam is the most logical, rational, and peaceful path that invites not only belief, but understanding through proof and reason, offering a system that aligns seamlessly with human nature, intellectual inquiry, and the principles of justice and harmony. It does not require blind faith, nor does it ask its followers to abandon intellect in favor of superstition or mystery. Rather, it encourages questioning, reflection, and exploration, starting with its very first revelation. Read, "In the name of your Lord who created." This is not a call to submission through fear, but a call to enlightenment through knowledge. Islam insists that the human mind be used to recognize truth, to understand creation, and to appreciate the perfection of divine wisdom that governs the universe. The Qur'an repeatedly appeals to reason with verses that challenge mankind to look into the sky, observe the alternation of night and day, reflect on the stages of human creation, ponder the diversity of languages and colors, and to examine the historical rise and fall of civilization. These are not mere poetic illustrations. They are logical pathways to recognizing the signs of the Creator and the truth of His message. Islam does not shy away from scrutiny. In fact, it invites anyone, believer or skeptic, to examine its foundations, to analyze its claims, and to test its guidance against reality, history, and conscience. It is this openness to examination and the confidence in its own divine origin that makes Islam stand apart from all man-made ideologies that demand loyalty without logic or fear-based compliance. Islam provides evidence for everything it teaches, whether it be the oneness of God, the authenticity of revelation, the truth of the prophethood, or the purpose of life, using reason, history, language, science, and human psychology as tools for understanding, not as threats to faith. The concept of God in Islam is pure, consistent, and intellectually satisfying. A God who is one, eternal, unlike His creation, without partners, without beginning or end, who cannot be born, nor does He give birth, and who alone deserves worship. This monotheism, Tawheed, is not just a theological position. It is a rational conclusion and a spiritual liberation from the contradictions and confusion of associating divinity with the created. Even the laws and rules in Islam are not arbitrary or harsh, as is often misunderstood, but are based on clear objectives to protect life, faith, intellect, property, and family. Every command has a wisdom, every prohibition has a benefit, and every obligation has a purpose that serves the well-being of both the individual and society. Justice is not only a value in Islam, it is a divine command. Islam mandates fair treatment of others, even in disagreement, and even with enemies, establishing a model where peace is preferred, where mercy is superior, and where war is only a last resort with strict ethical guidelines. The life of the Prophet serves as the ultimate evidence of this rational and peaceful practice. He lived among his enemies with patience, responded to insults with dignity, signed treaties with fairness, and guided through personal example more than force. His mission succeeded not because of the sword, but because of the clarity of the message and the purity of his character. Islam teaches that every human being is born on a natural state, fitra, with the innate recognition of right and wrong, truth and falsehood, and that Islam simply restores that original clarity through divine guidance. Its legal system promotes justice, its family system promotes balance, its economic system promotes fairness, and its spiritual system promotes inner peace, all grounded in logic, evidence, and consistency, making it not only the truth, but the most rational and peaceful path available to any sincere seeker of truth.